Alright, I have been seeing and generally laughing at the claim that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was denied its Best Picture nomination because it wasn't diverse enough for a while now, but I thought it might be worth looking into the people making these claims just a tiny little bit deeper. This guy openly claims that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was denied its Best Picture nomination due to lacking diversity.
But in terms of Best Picture, it wasn't going to be nominated to begin with. But the reason it's not nominated is hilarious. The fact that they said it's disqualified for failing due to diversity is glorious.
So let's hear what he has to say.
Standard A, and again, we went through a little bit of this already, at least actors of significant supporting actors submitted for Oscar consideration from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. We know that Sonic nails that. It also does it for general ensemble cast. So technically, Sonic the Hedgehog does meet Standard A.
So at first glance, it appears that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 does in fact meet at least the first of the 4 criteria that one has to meet at least 2 of in order to be considered for Best Picture. Now, I disagree with the Oscars rules on this subject already, so it shouldn't be too difficult to convince me that something like this is happening. Of course, I imagine I disagree with them for slightly different reasons.
At least 2 of the following creative leadership positions department heads, casting director, cinematographer, composer, costume designer, director, editor, hairstylist, makeup artist, producer, production designer, yada yada, has to be from an underrepresented group. I'm sure the motherfuckers on set doing the hairstyling for Sonic the Hedgehog may have fallen into one of these groups.
But now it appears to me that he just flatly can't read. The page specifies that the leads in those departments need to be of underrepresented groups. Now, unfortunately, I did the woke thing of actually double checking, and as far as I can tell, I think that Sonic 3 meets those requirements just barely, but I don't know for sure how exactly they categorize those things, and I would have to either do more research than this guy has ever done in his life, or just leave it where we are.
Let's be real, what happened is, yeah, Paramount just didn't even put the movie up. They didn't put forth, is my assumption, they didn't even put forth consideration. I doubt Paramount even filled out the paperwork, but maybe they did. Let's say they did and they were denied, they were rejected. And that would just mean that the movie is being slandered for not having diversity when there is in fact diversity there.
Okay, we went from the claim that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was denied a Best Picture nomination due to lacking diversity, and we have now circled around to agreeing that that is absolutely not what happened. It is almost certainly the case that Sonic the Hedgehog did not fill out the required paperwork and send it in because why on earth would they? This guy's argument right now is quite literally, I know this didn't happen, but what if I told you it did anyway? So, to recap, according to this guy, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was denied its Best Picture nomination for not meeting the Academy's diversity standards, despite, according to him, meeting those standards and probably not even trying to get a Best Picture nomination in the first place. And so he goes on to talk about how diversity actually isn't important and all that matters is the quality of the product. But it is absolutely the case that diversity is important because, of course, while entertainment can oftentimes be an escape from the real world, it still exists within the real world. And in that real world, real governments, including the United States of America, enact laws that are intended to disadvantage various marginalized groups. And those laws tend to be easier to pass when the general populace does not have familiarity with those demographics.